Let me take you back to a time when football was pure magic, and no one embodied that better than Roberto Baggio. He wasn't just a player, he was a fantasista, a genius with the ball, capable of lighting up any game with a single moment of brilliance. You know that feeling when a player gets the ball, and suddenly the whole stadium leans in because something is about to happen? That was Baggio. He played with flair, with grace, and with a kind of unpredictability that kept defenders trembling. If football were a religion, Baggio was one of its high priests. Born in the small town of Caldogno in Italy, Baggio had that raw, natural talent that you just can't teach. By the time he was a teenager, everyone could see he was destined for greatness. But his path to becoming one of Italy's most beloved players wasn't smooth. In fact, his early years were marred by a horrific knee injury at just 18. Most players would have called it quits, but not Baggio. He fought back, underwent countless surgeries, and came back stronger. That resilience, it shaped him, made him more than just a showman. It gave him that mental edge, a fire that burned bright every time he stepped onto the pitch. Now, let's talk about what really made Baggio special, his style of play. He was a pure number 10, a player who danced between the lines, linking midfield and attack with the grace of a ballerina and the vision of a chess grandmaster. He could take on defenders like they weren't even there, dribbling with this silky smooth control that made the ball look glued to his feet. But it wasn't just about his dribbling. Baggio had this incredible ability to thread impossible passes, to read the game 2 steps ahead of everyone else. And let's not forget that right foot. His free kicks were something out of a dream, curving, dipping and finding the back of the net with surgical precision. One of the most iconic moments of Baggio's career was during the 1994 World Cup in the USA. Now, everyone remembers that penalty miss in the final against Brazil, but to focus only on that would be a crime. What people tend to forget is that Italy wouldn't have even been in the final without Baggio. He single-handedly dragged them through the knockout stages, scoring in the round of 16, quarter-finals and semi-finals. His performances were electric, and when he was on the ball, you could feel the tension shift. Every defender knew they were about to face a nightmare, and Baggio, he thrived on it. What I love about Baggio, though, is how he never really conformed to the expectations of a typical Italian footballer. Italy has always been about defensive solidity, tactical discipline, and grinding out results. But Baggio was a free spirit. He played with a creativity and freedom that felt more Brazilian than Italian. And that hair, let's be real, the divine ponytail was as much a symbol of his individuality as his play was. He was someone who followed his own path, even when it clashed with coaches or teammates, and you've got to respect that kind of conviction. Baggio's career is a lesson in perseverance. He played for some of the biggest clubs in Italy, Fiorentina, Juventus, AC Milan, Inter Milan, and won the Ballon d'Or in 1993, the ultimate recognition of his brilliance. Yet, despite all the accolades, there was always this sense that he never quite got the full recognition he deserved. Part of that is because he wasn't always the easiest to manage. He had a rebellious streak, and some coaches just didn't know how to harness his talent. But for those of us who love the beautiful game, he's a legend, full stop. There's something deeply human about Baggio's story. He wasn't perfect. He had moments of triumph, but also moments of heartbreak. That missed penalty in 1994, it haunted him, no doubt, but it also made him relatable. He wasn't a flawless superstar, he was vulnerable, and that's what made his moments of brilliance feel so much more special. It's why so many fans, especially in Italy, still hold him in their hearts. Baggio didn't just play football, he lived it, breathed it, and bled for it. For me, Roberto Baggio represents the beauty of football in its purest form. He was a player who could make you fall in love with the game all over again, every time he touched the ball. His creativity, his vision, his passion, it all came together in a way that very few players have ever managed to replicate. He was an artist, a rebel, and a genius all rolled into one. And that, my friends, is why Roberto Baggio will forever be one of the greatest to ever grace the pitch.